King Von. It is no secret that the world of hip-hop has long been intertwined with themes of violence, crime, and street culture. Unfortunately, this connection has led to a grim reality. Many rappers fall victim to violent altercations, with a significant portion of rapper deaths being caused by murder. In fact, statistics show that more than 50% of rappers who pass away do so due to violent crimes, many of which are tied to gang affiliations or past criminal activities. Sadly, this means that every year, the music industry mourns the loss of several talented artists, many of whom have just begun to make a name for themselves. This trend is especially prevalent among artists who are involved in gang-related activities or have a history of legal trouble. We saw the untimely deaths of numerous rising stars and established figures in the rap industry. Among those tragic losses was the talented Chicago-born rapper, King Von. Born as Devon Bennett on August 9, 1994, King Von was a Chicago native who grew up in the city's notorious South Side. He first gained major recognition in 2018 with his breakout hit song, Crazy Story. The track quickly went viral, and its accompanying music video amassed millions of views on YouTube. The song's popularity skyrocketed further when Von released a remix featuring fellow Chicago rapper and close friend, Lil Durk. To this day, the original video has garnered over 17 million views, while the remix has surpassed 40 million. Recognizing the momentum of his success, King Von continued the narrative-driven style of Crazy Story by releasing sequels, Crazy Story Part 2 and Crazy Story Part 3, which gained millions of views in their own right. With his raw storytelling ability and vivid depictions of street life, it was clear that King Von was on the fast track to fame. He had already secured enough industry connections to collaborate with high-profile artists, and his influence in the hip-hop scene was growing at a rapid pace. Growing up in Chicago during the 1990s and early 2000s meant that King Von was surrounded by violence, crime, and gang activity from an early age. He spent most of his childhood and teenage years in Parkway Gardens, an apartment complex located in one of the most dangerous areas of Chicago. **Block**. The area was notorious for gang violence and served as the inspiration for Von's third studio album, Welcome to a Block. With gangs controlling much of the neighborhood, it was almost inevitable that young boys in the area would get caught up in the lifestyle. By the time he was a child, King Von had already aligned himself with the Black Disciples, one of the most infamous and violent street gangs in Chicago. His association with the gang led him down a path filled with crime, violence, and legal troubles. Throughout his teenage years and early adulthood, King Von was in and out of juvenile detention centers and later, adult jails. One of the most significant legal battles of his life occurred in 2014, when he was charged with murder after allegedly opening fire on a group of individuals at a party, resulting in one fatality. However, in a twist of fate, Von managed to walk free after his accomplice took full responsibility for the crime, receiving a 28-year prison sentence. Von, on the other hand, was released without serving any significant time behind bars. Despite his legal troubles, King Von continued to navigate the rap industry while keeping close ties with his gang-affiliated past. In 2019, he found himself in yet another criminal case when he and fellow rapper Lil Durk were accused of shooting and robbing a man in Atlanta. Prosecutors alleged that the two rappers shot the victim, stole his Jeep, and made off with $30,000 in cash. However, Von's legal team argued that the shooting was an act of self-defense, claiming that the victim had attempted to rob them first. Despite the seriousness of the charges, both Von and Durk were released on bail in June 2019, Von posting a $250,000 bond, while Durk's bail was set at $300,000. After this incident, King Von appeared to shift his focus back to his music career, seemingly staying out of trouble. Unfortunately, trouble found him once again, and this time, it had fatal consequences. In the early hours of November 6, 2020, a violent altercation broke out outside the Monaco Hookah Lounge in Atlanta, Georgia. What initially started as a scuffle between two groups quickly escalated into a shootout in the streets. One side consisted of King Von and his entourage, most of whom were affiliated with the Black Disciples, while the other group was associated with rapper Quando Rondo. Although the exact cause of the fight remains unclear, surveillance footage captured the moment chaos erupted. As fists flew and the brawl spilled into the streets, gunfire rang out, sending people scrambling for cover. In the midst of the chaos, King Von was struck by bullets and collapsed on the pavement. Footage showed one of his associates dragging his wounded body into a vehicle in a desperate attempt to get him to the hospital. Off-duty police officers who were stationed at the club, along with an on-duty officer patrolling nearby, responded to the shooting by opening fire on the gunman in an effort to stop the violence. By the time King Von was transported to the hospital, it was too late. The 20 sick. Community in shock and mourning. In addition to King Von, 2 other individuals lost their lives in the shooting, and multiple others were wounded. Police were initially unsure who fired the fatal shots, but after further investigation, 22-year-old Timothy Leaks was arrested and charged with felony murder. At the time of his arrest, Leaks was also recovering from gunshot wounds sustained during the shootout. Unlike King Von's tragic and violent passing, the death of 5th Ward Huey, born Jerome Cozy, was due to natural causes. He was a highly influential rapper in New Orleans' bounce music scene and was widely recognized as the Bounce King. His career, which began in the 1990s, helped shape the Southern hip-hop movement, and he gained popularity through his signature energetic sound and high-energy performances. Huey was best known for hits like Let Me Find Out and Katrina, ***, which became anthems in New Orleans. Although he never reached the same mainstream level as some other rappers, he remained a local legend and collaborated with several well-known artists in the industry. At the age of 42, 5th Ward Huey passed away unexpectedly. Unlike many rapper deaths that result from street violence, his passing was linked to complications following surgery. His sudden demise left fans and fellow artists grieving the loss of a key figure in New Orleans hip-hop. Here's the rewritten version with more detailed wording. Complications arising from a ruptured artery ultimately led to his passing on January 9, 2020. His death was deeply mourned by fans, fellow artists, and even prominent public figures. Notable names in the music industry, including Snoop Dogg and Lil Wayne, publicly expressed their condolences. However,